Greetings, I'm joining us on this broadcast. All right, so yeah, this is a breakaway from the old Celebrities That Can Save Us series. I think it was pretty successful. Well, if you have a sense of humor, it is really successful. If you don't have a sense of humor, well, I'm not sure what you can do with that. Um, so, secret space program, human trafficking, Mexican border, real X Files. So right before I went live, I would show it here, but the site has so many ads on it, I'm not gonna bother with it. But they just had a UFO. One of the former director of national intelligence, was talking about the UFO sightings that the Pentagon is aware of that they have not released. It's a lot. No surprise, right? And just like 2 hours before I went live, I just randomly looked at just so what are they gearing up for? I mean, if they're going to bring us a fake alien invasion, bring it on. We're dealing with a fake health crisis. Might as well add to it. So yeah, so the real X Files, it's and the director of national intelligence was a former. I believe it was talking about the Pentagon. So the Pentagon puts a big role in all of this, obviously. So yeah, this is I don't know what to. They're talking about they're talking more about UFOs than they've had ever. So if they're going to do a fake alien invasion, I mean, are we here just to decipher if it's real or not? Which I wouldn't doubt. I mean, it would make more sense unless the real aliens show up. I can quit and go do something else, like shave my head and live on an island somewhere. That's fine. uh, or they're just going to bring in the fake aliens, and then we have to we have to decipher what's real and what's not. Which I wouldn't be surprised, actually. I don't know what they're planning, but they're talking about it more than they usually do. So, well, I'm talking about the UFO topic. They're talking more and more about it recently. So, they're gearing up for something. And they say it was June. They're going to disclose some of this UFO files. So maybe June when things are going to start to kick in when they have the fake aliens flying. They're going to start talking. It feels like they don't care anymore. The cover up. It just feels like they just don't care. Obviously, they're not showing us everything, but this is more than they've ever done before. So part of the COVID bill, this is back last year, it has something in there about disclosing UFO stuff, which makes no sense why they would have that in there. But Trump was supposed to bring in the aliens anyway, so I guess we're about to find out. So anyway, so we'll go to the secret space program, the human trafficking energy I feel from that. So we'll do a little more on the human trafficking subject matter. Mexican border is pretty obvious. Of course, the Canadian border plays a big role in it too, but just see where this goes. And then the real X Files. That should be different. I wasn't expecting that one. Yeah. So yeah, they're really gearing up for something. That's so yeah, somewhere in June is when they're gonna start talking about this stuff. Where am I at now? Okay. All right, we'll do this first. This is avatar.com, our private sessions. Scheduler. The shop here I'm on. The 6. Well, what's new, right? I'm always behind. Same situation here. Webinar sign up. Social network, Rabbit, and behind the scenes. Okay. So we have the day the Earth stood still And maybe this is kind of like communist aliens. You know, if you don't do what we say, we're just going to zap you. I saw some of it. I didn't see the whole thing, but I'm not sure. I don't remember the being carrying a girl like that. I don't remember any that. I think that whole thing is exaggerated. But anyway, I don't think there's a blonde girl in this. But you know, whatever. That lady there, I mean, she's in it. But there's no blonde girl in there. I don't believe so. But anyway, you know, marketing. So you have I forgot his name was Carpenter. The guy here is the alien. He's similar to the what's his name from Venus. The alien from Venus. I forget his name right now. It seems like very similar to that. So all this are scenarios of a ship landing, and of course it happens in front of the White House, what we're all expecting. I mean, when I visualize it, I don't visualize it exactly like that, but pretty much landing in the White House lawn is pretty much similar. So this all comes in the day the Earth sits still. If you haven't seen it, basically it shuts all the power off everywhere for like 30 minutes. Which, of course, if you're in a hospital, that doesn't work out so well. But they don't talk about that. But basically, you know, for us to stop with our nuclear weapons, I believe this is actually a channeled message overall. In the 1950s, it had a lot of alien science fiction messages. And I believe it was majority of it was channeled. You know, it might have had a little fiction added to it here and there, obviously, but you know, overall, it shows that we have an alien presence here. So you can just look at the movies from the 50s or a TV show. The way most of the movies and tell you alien contact is right in front of us, just right in front of us, and we're not seeing it. Of course not, because we call it fiction. So you can keep our sanity. Well, for some of us, keep our sanity. The rest of us are losing our freaking minds. Yeah, normal is not fun. That's for sure. I'm not gonna go into that anymore. Yeah. So, where am I going with any of that? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, my general feeling about this, you know, if the real aliens show up, I can finally quit and go, you know, have a life somewhere, whatever that means. Or the fake aliens show up, and we have to deal with that crap, which that's most likely to happen. Or the real aliens and the fake aliens show up. I really want that. It does. It seems like they just don't care anymore. At least for the data dump they're going to put out there in June. They just don't. I don't know. Just have to wait and see. Yeah, somewhere in June, they're going to start laying this stuff out, and then more people will start talking about it, and we won't seem crazy anymore. That's the vibe I'm getting from it. So I don't know. Nobody really knows. They've been talking about this forever. Yeah. Okay, all right. We'll do secret space program, human trafficking, and then we'll go into the Mexican border. It's still a part of the human trafficking, energy, and maybe whatever else we pick up from the Mexican border. It doesn't have to be human trafficking; it can be anything. And then go into the real X Files. And human trafficking, see how this goes. I might do more on this. We'll see. It might be Europe, Russia, whatever comes to mind. So, all right, blessings. There we go. Greetings. We got the human trafficking energy, yes, connected to the secret space program. Yes, an alien hijacking. Yes, beings that don't expect to be around very long. There are many beings that just are on their exit point for good, that no longer feel they have a reason to exist in this realm, the alien realm. So many, yes, are part that create actually much of the founders of this universe have actually lost themselves. Where they're like directors of this secret space program. They're running it, they control it. Dark, light comes out of darkness, but darkness still exists. So healing your human trafficking here is also healing on other worlds, other space planes. As this, it's part of the enslavement of this universe, because the universe itself is under a mind control. So it's not just as you hear of alien beings that are just horrific, as some of you have tapped into your own experiences of beings that are just horrible service to self beings. Well, they have a human trafficking vibration or a trafficking energy and alien trafficking energy connected to them in some form or another. Like bird beings enslaving a reptilian race, and reptilians enslaving humans, and so forth. Humans enslaving cat people enslaving humans. It's not all species, no, but that vibration was within the universe. It is just part of its core, the darkness of it. Well, if you want to get a world to do what you want, to enslave its people. So you go to a world to invade it, and you're not getting what you want, so you take people with you, and then you never give them back. And you get used to doing that until you get what you want, to take more and more and more until you get what you want. So that's a version of why this occurs. So it's just another way of alien takeover, basically. So human self, that's why it's in the fourth dimension. Sometimes it's in the third dimension. Of course, in the third dimension, but it goes to the fourth dimension eventually. It's one of the themes of this universe that has to heal. Yes, and it is intense. It is also connected to Project Montauk and other government creations. Well, yeah, because the mind is built to look away, as you can see. Now, many of you are looking towards it, but you're not always seeing it correct. Well, seeing it clearly due to the blockages that are around it. Your Mexican border and borders in general between countries are big. Afghanistan, there's a human trafficking energy connected there. Your Mexican border, yes, to a degree. There's many places. It's not entirely the whole Mexican border, but yes, it is an easy place for people to be trafficked. Let's put it that way. Usually, it is underground, though, as many of you have suspected. Yes, so they can close off the border all day long. Underground, they don't know. And yes, that's why a lot of these bases are created. That's why for human genetics, human testing, basically, alien DNA and so forth. Yes, getting down to the underground is a little bit difficult. But as for secret space program connections, yes, it's always been a problem. Basically, especially when those part of the secret space are abducted and then mind controlled, and that person's used against their fleet. Like Ashtar Command, used against Ashtar Command to control Ashtar Command. It's like one person, especially telepaths, are usually taken so they can weaponize them against their own people. Yeah, somebody with a very telepathic mind can be very dangerous in alien realms. Yeah, it's not all safe as some people think, obviously. I mean, there are worlds that are paradise, high vibrational worlds that do not need those experiences, but they are aware of what's going on. It's the hurt of the universe. The very creation of this universe is wounded, and eventually it will show itself. Yeah, it's not going to be humanoid beings that are going to show up on our planet either. These will be creature-like beings. Some of them will look ugly, but that doesn't mean they're always bad. They're just not what you would expect from alien energy. That's just very, you're just not aware of it. It is, yeah, there are parasitic beings, but not all of them are that way. They're just creature beings that has not been made known to your world. So humanity has a lot to take in. Your fiction is, they put it in through fiction for you to begin to digest it until you're ready to manifest it in the physical, which is slowly occurring. And yes, a very deep learning for many. But your secret space, the tall paths, really our message about that is very advanced people that are used that can be weaponized against others. That's really the main message there. Obviously, you can go into more details, but that's our message at this time. Well, it's such as like a child is taken and used against others. It's weaponized also. Because they can go into the astral of the child and manipulate the parents and put them through depression, which wasn't too hard to do. It's just a lot of wickedness here. But yes, it goes back to the center of this universe, the very foundations, the founding of this universe, of finding its own identity. As many go through their own darkness of the soul to figure itself out, the universe goes through it too. And yes, it can be very just horrific. It's a universe going through. It's a universe is going through puberty. It's a universe going through the college years. It's not that different in a lot of ways, especially when this is more of a humanoid universe when it comes down to it. Humans still play a big role here, as all beings, but humans still, on your planet, the human energy is, as you heal, the universe heals. Let's put it that way. Even those humans that don't believe in any of this, as long as they heal the drama, obviously that's very easier said than done. But as they heal their problems here, the world gets thinner, meaning the density just lessens itself. So the media creating all this drama, obviously it's mind control. A lot of that's from AI technologies, AIs from other worlds, broadcasting to your planet. I mean, yes, it's broadcasted here, but a lot of the energies come from other worlds to manipulate your society. So, yeah, your media is made here, but it's also manufactured on other planets too. So, because other worlds have media too. It's not just yours. And it's like one world gets manipulated, sends their signal out to your planet, or sends it to another planet, and it goes to your planet eventually. And the manipulation gets, yeah, it's just some worlds allow manipulation. Of course, yours does. But some worlds that are very dark, like a dark planet, can have media and your government, your corrupt government there, and they project that energy on your planet. They signal it right to a resort. Of course, it's difficult to release it when you're under attack, basically. Good day. Greetings to you. We are the Mexican border. Yes, there are government agents that are, yes, not what they say they are. They are working with the elites. Of course, you would never really know. All of them are government contractors. Goes to the government contractors that are part of the elite. So a lot of them have a name, of course, but they're not the easiest to track. So government contractors, of course, as soon as they get noticed or discovered, they disappear instantly. But they don't always have their name signatures. They might have like a symbol or like AA or something very simple. because they have to identify themselves somehow with their people. So, but government contractors is the way to look for human trafficking. Not an easy find, of course. And they do most of their trafficking at night, obviously not during the day for obvious reasons. A lot of it, of course, because the borders are closed, a lot of it is underground. So underground activity has increased greatly. But during the day, they don't even care anymore, do they? No. And a lot of it is done by ships and boats. People that are taking, depending on what part of the United States, they're just easily shipped off also in the ships, or in the Atlantic or the Pacific, just shipped out. Yeah, you can also say there's an alien, presence there. Yes, where humans are disappearing in their forests, and that a lot of that goes into the Project Montauk energy underground bases usually, and they don't normally remember it. Now, sometimes there's a positive being, they're brought back. Positive beings get. Yeah, there's an alien war going on for abductions still, and most of it's not bringing the person back. It's taking the person altogether, disappearance. So, missing persons. So, missing persons. Yes, you can add the alien element to it. It's a human element there, but also it's an alien vibration of, are these people ever going to return? Those that do not return most likely have been alien abducted. We're just putting that out there. All cases are different. So even the alien beings are allowing more knowledge to come through gradually. But we are pushing it. Yes, the contractors is very important. Not easy to find, but of course, if you're on the border, you can obviously see it every now and then. But the city is on the Mexican border, Canadian border too, but we're focusing on the Mexican border at this time. Brings you. We are the real X Files. Yes, your government. Now, your Pentagon is allowing more of this for, I believe this was mentioned earlier, karmic reasons. Uh, they want to save their souls. Those that are part of this. Some of them feel very ill internally. They hate themselves. It's like they want to allow their souls to exist longer, because this type of alien cover up, a lot of these souls are going to be scarred with this for a very long time. They're keeping it covered. Now, some can justify it in their minds and feel it's the best for humanity, but others are doing it to make, it's actually making things worse here. Of course, it's a little bit difficult to explain that, but some see the benefits of humans knowing who's here. So it really comes down to your shadow government, as you're probably aware, which is technically your Pentagon. Of course, I'm not going to call it shadow government, but it technically is. All your other shadow agencies, of course. It's just, there's obviously a dark side to them that's really inhuman, but not entirely. Some are inhuman in the beginning, but then they start to redeem themselves, and they find a way to allow these leaks to occur. It's not just for their own self, but it's also for others that are, because you're going through awakening period, and they know that, and the more positive side wants to assist those that are. And obviously, nothing's ever easy on this planet. But many do want to make it easier for those that are in their way. It's basically for those that are in their awakened states to help them on their journey. It's karmic reasons, but another thing is just this is part of what the human collective is allowing to squeeze into your reality. It's not an easy thing to bring in an idea, but more of your the word UFO sighting is putting a new energy to a lot of these timelines to connect to your main timeline. So you can call it snuck in, they're sneaking it in, but this is how this is like, yes, like the invention of the car. The invention of the car, people are just like, no thanks. I got my horse. I can walk. I don't need any of that. And now look at the world you're living in now. It's practically the same thing. It's just with the UFO energies, it's a lot deeper. It's a whole nother consciousness. This is something what many of you are connected to on a galactic level. So we're not saying there's going to be a huge transformation, but some of you are, even as we are speaking, manifesting this energy here. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's not going to be this easy road. We don't see a fake alien invasion, but we do see our government wanting to control the information or any beings that come through. We also see alien contactees getting stronger. Now, that's been happening for some time. It's just not broadcast. And then it doesn't mean that humans are connected to like a physical being, but their minds are connecting to it in a fourth dimensional level, in a astral level. Meaning they're minding their own business and they might see something in their mind, that type of thing. And some of them are getting a spiritual connection here and there. They're just not broadcasting it. Now, actually, a physical connection, those are getting stronger. Obviously, not making themselves known, but more we expect more contactees in your future, which will charge more of the momentum up. It'll be, just a gradual connection. Won't be anything like they get on the spaceship and go fly somewhere. We're not feeling that, but just more people will wake up and see these beings, and they'll remember more than they used to. Just see a being, and that'll be it. That'll be your awakening. Now you have to try and make that connection. We feel like if you do see a being, many are going to receive downloads. We don't know when, but we see people getting more downloads, like understanding their star families more clearly overall, and the less fear mechanisms. Especially when you hear messages like this, and they say, "Oh, so for the Palladian, their serial connections to open up more," and just yes, it might be homesickness. Well, you want your awakening or not. That's why a lot of people don't awaken. It's because of homesick. They want to go to that planet. They don't want to be here. So it's another reason why many souls don't remember anything. But as more people are willing to take the pain of it and remember, more will allow more of these type of downloads to come through. And people will get so used to it, they'll even have like meetup groups and all that talking about what they're seeing. And that becoming, it's not just connecting to spirit, like spirit groups, but more like alien groups where you're just starting to remember more. The veil is lifting ever so slightly. So but that ignites more of an alien connection. Yes, you're with your alien group, and the alien being appears around you. You start seeing mantis, things like that. And I've not quite gotten there. Obviously, it depends on what location you're into. Especially like New York City is very dense. Doesn't mean you can't have a connection there. It's just dense there. Places like Sedona was ECETI. Yes, that's another one. That one's government watched, by the way, obviously. So where these connections can happen anywhere. But we're just putting this out because this is the future. Now we don't have a time frame for this, of course not. But the real X file consciousness is even your men in black are becoming more lenient on what comes through. Well, it's souls that willing to take the pain. It's like you want your download, you feel homesick, but you're gonna have to endure. Like, yeah, you can see a planet, even in your mind, a lot happier. And can you handle that connection? Many can't. Many starseed beings are here and going through depression, drug addictions, you name it. You can go mostly a drug addict and anonymous, drugs anonymous. Most of them are starseed beings. They might not always be aware of it. Majority of them are, because they remember that high vibrational life. So it's mostly for hard drugs, even marijuana, but it's mostly psychedelics. But the hard drugs is really, if they do a hard drug, that means they really want to get back to that place badly, even if they have to kill themselves, but usually they're trying to do that. But some would rather like a midlife, to have their body die so they can always connect to that realm. We don't recommend that, but that's really pushing the extreme. But yes, your you're going into, once again, you're the positive elite are what, obviously when you do something positive here for alien disclosure, the negative finds every way it can to make it look bad. It's like you can give someone ice cream, they'll make it rain. And you're not by a tree. They'll find some way to ruin it for everybody. I think some of you have dealt with that. So they're going to add controversy around it. They're going to say, oh, that's not real. They're going to do this and that. They're going to do everything they can to turn it back. So you got to, yes, follow your instincts, but I believe for the most part, it is accurate information for the most part. And it is helping the karma of the government. It's showing the government is no longer afraid of itself. It's just there was, because they have fear. They have fear they might lose control of society if they bring this up. Of course, there's many agendas for alien technology and all that, but they're not going to give it to you anyway. They can talk about little green men and still have their technology. They'll just call it a conspiracy theory until they're ready to come clean about it. So it's just a psychotic control over society. Instead of just coming clean about it, many feel, well, your government, MJ12, it's not always your MJ12. MJ12 only has so much power. They mingle with all this, but they're not always the ones shutting everything down. A lot of it comes down to the Pentagon. There's other forces, but mostly the Pentagon. Well, they do human wars here, alien wars. They're part of everything, basically. Of course, you have your UN, and they're all kind of. I mean, people think about a one world government. You're pretty much already in one. They just don't call it that. But they also connect to each other. They just act like they hate each other in the public, but in truth, they all work with each other. Well, in some form or another, they do. Obviously, in the public sector, they're not going to agree to that, but on a shadow government level, they're all just buddies with each other. They're probably sick of each other. Some of them are getting tired of the cover up, but some of them are allowing it to come through that. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. I don't know, they showed me a picture of like a general white hair. Uh Pentagon, but it feels like there's a lot of Navy connections. I don't know what any of that means. I did a channeling a while ago and I saw a Navy person. This is the second time that's happened. Last time it was more astral. This is more, I wouldn't call it physical, but I'm seeing it a little bit more clearly this time. I'm tapping into it as I talk about it. So this is the second time I've seen an army person. As I come out of a channeling, I've seen a Navy person. This was white hair. I never didn't see white hair before. So I don't know if I'm being remote viewed as I do this. Possibly. All right, take care.